Today's video, we're going to make this quilt top using yardage fabric and a jelly roll. The jelly roll I used is a mini, and I'm getting a lap quilt out of it, and we're doing a chevron type design. Very minimalist, so let's get started. Hello, I'm Jackie with Jackie Russell Creates, and I want to personally welcome you to my page, where I give you tips, tricks, and techniques to make that next quilt project that you've been looking at. So if you're new here and you learned something and you want to continue to learn about quilting and sewing projects, whether they're big or small, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you know the next time I upload a video. So let's get started. In this video we will be talking about adding the triangles and the strips down the side. So our next step is to take a 15-inch square, and you're going to cut it in quarters, so from corner to corner to corner. So you have a total of 4 triangles, and what we're going to do is we're going to sew the long edge of your triangle along the edge of the point, and that's going to give us the straight edge here, so we don't have Y seams, to be able to connect our 2 points together like that. So I already did the other 3, so let's go ahead and sew this one. We're going to sew it a 1/4 inch. And what I like to do when I go to pin it on, I like to start at one end and leave a little hangover, so I know that it's going to fit the whole length. So we're going to start at this end, and I'm just going to line up the edges and pin it. So you can see where I left the tip of the triangle hanging off. And it will hang off at the other end as well. So we have it on, and we're going to go and press it toward the triangle piece that you just put on, and then we'll square it up. So what I do to square it up is I line my stripes up with a number on the cutting mat. Use one of the horizontal lines at the top, and now I know that this is my excess to cut off there. And I do it on the other side, and then I trim and square up the top. So here is one piece, and here's our other piece. Now what I'm going to do is take a pin, and I'm going to put it right through where the seams connect, because that's my point. And I'm going to do it to the other side. And that's the point I want to make sure I don't clip. And now I'm going to sew these 2 together, lining everything up. And be careful not to stretch this, because your triangles, because they are on the bias. And they will stretch fairly easy, so you need to be careful not to pull and tug on them. And now we're going to go stitch this down, making sure that we go through that tip to give us our points. Now we're going to go and press this, and I'm going to press it open to help with some of that bulk right there. And that will give us our pointed points and our strip to be able to sew together. So there is one strip for our top. Now we're going to cut a 12.5 by 66.5 of fabric, and we're going to sew that on one side. And then you're going to cut a 24.5 by 66.5, and it's going to go on this side. And that is going to be our chevron burst. So let's pin and sew this together. And when I'm pinning, I'm trying to pin at each corner or each piece of the chevron to help hold that down in place, to make sure that none of those little corners get folded up in there. So let me know, what is something that you have been working on, a new technique, a new pattern, or something that you've seen and you'd like to be demonstrated. I have a few projects I have coming up. We're going to have some changes coming to the channel come the first of the year. We're going to be doing a sew along. We're going to do a mug rug of the month. We'll have a quilt project that we'll be doing, whether it's showing a new technique or a new ruler or something like that. So I hope that that's something you're interested in. So I got it all pinned and ready to stitch. I got my leader here, and we're going to do it at 1/4 inch. So your finished quilt top will be 54 inches by 66 inches. Be a good lap quilt. You can make it longer. You can make it wider. Well, I ran out of bobbin, so I will fill the bobbin and then restitch this side down. As a bobbin's filled, and I'll pin it again. So when you lose your bobbin or run out of bobbin when you're quilting or patchworking, you want to make sure that you start over a few of those stitches that you already did to help keep them from unraveling. Okay, so I have it sewn. Now I'm going to take it to the ironing board and I'm going to press it toward the solid fabric to reduce bulk on the chevron part. So there is the finished quilt top. You have an off-center chevron pattern. It is a finished quilt top at 54 by 66. That will be what your finished quilt is. You can back it however you would like and quilt it however you would like. So that's where we're going to leave off with this. I would love to see what you do with this pattern, what kind of fabric you use. If you have some ideas or suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. Until then, happy quilting, my friends.